Let's get familiar with the main components of the 3ds Max interface. Of course, you've got a menu bar up here at the top with lots of goodies inside here. Be aware that unlike Maya or some other programs, these menus are not complete. In other words, there are many commands that are not in the menus. And specifically, a lot of those commands are going to be found over here in this area called the command panel. And the command panel has 6 different tabs for things like create objects, modify objects, change the structure of links between objects, and so on. The command panel is really kind of the heart of the program, and you'll be spending a lot of your time over here in that command panel, especially in the modify panel. We've got a main toolbar here that is actually appropriately named the main toolbar. And if it doesn't fit on your screen, then you can slide it around. If you hover your mouse over an empty spot, you'll get a little hand cursor, and then you can move that around. Below that, we've got something called the ribbon, and it's primarily for modeling. And it's kind of minimized right now. We can make it bigger by clicking on this button, Show Full Ribbon. And there are lots of really cool options and tools in here that we'll start to look at later in the course. For now, just to speed up the interface and also to declutter the interface, I'm going to hide the ribbon. And that's done from a button on the main toolbar labeled Toggle Ribbon. Click on that and it'll just hide the ribbon. On the left, we have something called the Scene Explorer. And this is an outline view of all of the objects in your scene. My opinion is that it's taking up a lot of space, and I want to see that Scene Explorer when I want to see it and not all of the time. So I want to have it hidden by default. Now there is a button on the main toolbar to show and hide the Scene Explorer. And we're going to look for that here. We've got Curve Editor, Schematic View, Scene Explorer. Okay, so that's our outline view. But there's a little bit of an issue here. If I click on that, it doesn't hide the one that's here. When I click on that, it actually opens another one. So in 3ds Max, you can have lots of Scene Explorers that do different things like manage lights and so on. And this is a so-called Global Explorer. And this is a so-called local one that's stored in your scene. Well, what we want to do here is we want to swap these out. So I'm going to close this one, and I want to get rid of this one. And the only way to do that is to drag it off. So position the cursor here on this little bar, drag it out, and then you can close it. Once you've done that, then this button over here works the way you expect it to, which is to open and close the Scene Explorer. A little bit tricky, but there it is. And I can actually take this back over here and dock it. As you move the window around, you see the cursor change. Move it over here onto the left-hand side, and I get a little dock cursor, and I can release, and now it's docked over there, and I can turn it on and off. Now we've also got this thing here, which is called the View Cube, and I want to disable that because it's actually pretty dangerous. When you click on it, it changes your view, and if you're not really an expert and not really familiar with how 3D works, it actually is going to get in your way because you're going to click on this and it's going to change your view and make your life difficult. So we're going to turn that off. Now there is a menu item to turn it off. Views, View Cube. However, this is not sticky between sessions. In other words, if you turn it off here, the next time you turn the program on or restart the application, the View Cube is going to come back. So that's unfortunate, but what we can do is disable it from a different place, which is in the viewport configuration. So these, of course, are the viewports. Click on the plus sign in one of those viewports and go to Configure Viewports. And within here, go to the View Cube tab and disable View Cube here, and then click Apply or OK. And now the View Cube is actually turned off permanently, and it won't get in our way. Okay, finally down here, we've got some animation tools. We've got our timeline. And we've got some keyframe creation tools. And also we have transform information. And that'll show us, for example, where the position of an object is. And then down here we've got some playback controls and controls for manipulating the viewport or manipulating our position in the 3D world. Those are the main elements of the 3ds Max interface. And we've also stripped it down to make it more workable with less clutter.